Transformers, it used to be easy to tell the Autobots from the Decepticons, but now the mini-spies are on the loose. They look like Autobots, but are they? It's a Decepticon! After him! Transformer mini-spies. You get one with each of the 6 Autobot mini-car packages. Motorized Transformers. You can't tell if they're Autobots or Decepticons until you rub up their symbol.
It's an Autobot!
Transformer mini-spies. Get them while supplies last from Hasbro.
Alright, so that was the mini spies. Okay, so as you saw there, it has that rub-on action. Very, very interesting for the times. Clever idea having those spy bots that can go into the bases and all that. Definitely cool. I believe they did have a play set for the Transformers, and that would be very cool to have. Obviously, very small figures. Definitely along the same time as like a mini con would be. Of course, back then it's G1, so that size is going to be extremely small in comparison to today, where they're going to be small, but they're not going to necessarily be that small. Maybe. So really cool figures overall, really simple ideas, not overly detailed, but enough detail to definitely arise an interest and make people want to buy those figures, just because, mini spies, ooh, cool, I can rub it, it's an Autobot, it's a Decepticon, whoa, what's going on? Like, that's what's cool about that, so, anyway, yeah.
Autobots join Optimus Prime, Smokescreen, Trax, Hoist, Inferno, Red Alert, and Grapple. And joining the evil Decepticons, Thrust and Dirge.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, robots in the sky. The Transformers,
Decepticon attack! Autobots will stop them!
the Transformers.
The Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
So over there we saw some newer figures at the time. These were figures. I want to say they really weren't featured in the show as much, but these are some really cool Transformers as well as some nice Decepticons. Obviously, back then the Decepticons were more often than not known for flying, while the Autobots were known for being on the ground. Very common thing in the G1 universe when it comes to Autobots versus Decepticons is that constant idea. Really cool figures overall, seeing all of them. Really, really nice prints, just really cool. Obviously, this was around the time of like a new wave of figures for Transformers, not your classic figures that everyone knows from the original series. But definitely like a little bit newer. Definitely at the time definitely was trying to show, okay, we're gonna take this. We're gonna keep on going with this. This isn't gonna be a smaller show. We're definitely trying to expand a little bit more. We're trying to add more figures because Transformers back in the 80s was the thing. Like it was it was one of the things. Okay, look. There was of course other things that came along like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and He-Man and all that stuff, but still pretty big. So yeah, let's keep going though, guys. Really cool.
Oh no, look!
It's Omega Supreme!
There it is, the Omega Supreme Defense Center. And that's its fantastic motorized tank.
Decepticons! Counterattack Omega Supreme!
Transformers!
Omega Supreme will stop them!
And now it's here in theaters everywhere. Transformers the movie. It's over, Prime. Does Prime die? Transformers the movie, rated PG, now playing everywhere. Don't...
Alright, so that was Omega Supreme. Really cool figure, really cool playset that eventually combines to make Omega Supreme. Has that combiner aspect to it. Obviously, like Devastator, one of the earlier versions of what would eventually result in what we have today as Combiner Wars. Really cool figures that can combine together to create massive figures that are just amazing. Really, really cool figures overall that are like super iconic for that general idea of being able to combine with other figures, because early on combining with figures, that wasn't a thing. That was that like the first time that like those kind of things were very, very new. Like, I mean, other than Devastator and Omega Supreme, very, very limited. The other thing that they showed out there was the Transformers movie commercial, and they said, does Optimus Prime die? Because that was the huge point. And one of the things that's great about the first movie, and I don't want to go into too much detail, is that it's pretty connected. Like when they did that movie, they were definitely taking consideration. Like, oh, kids are gonna want to watch this movie and then see the show, and when they see the show, they're gonna want to hope to see, oh, this is gonna continue on in the show in some way, and it does. Like, some of these aspects definitely are brought into the show. Sure, it's not to the same extent, but this was how like the next season or so would start. Like, it would go from the movie, and then eventually we'd get into this newer series where like they'd have a new leader, they'd have new characters, they'd have new stuff going on, and it's very, very different from what we had already seen. So really, really cool stuff. If you're a big Transformers fan, awesome stuff. The movie is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, highly suggested. Easy to find online, I'll tell you that much right now. Not that hard at all. Really great movie. If you're a big Transformers fan, or even if you're a small one, it's still something that's fun to watch. If you watch the recent stuff, cool. Definitely look into this though. It's really, really good. Thumbs up. All right, so let's keep going though, guys.
Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Alright, so that was the Body Chargers. So if you haven't already guessed, that was like for the second season, clearly. Based on the theme being a little bit different from the original, has that newer sound. Also, we saw that the kids this time transformed into Megatron, supposedly. Very cool. These are known as Body Chargers. Very similar to Jumpstarter in that regard, because of the fact that, you know, it starts off as its vehicle mode and then it can transform into its bot mode. So very cool, simple concept overall, nice stuff overall, and this is clearly second season, so, you know, newer theme, newer story. You know, this is not the first season where, I mean, G1's always great, and this is definitely like newer looking, definitely material's a little bit better at this point, but still really cool stuff overall. Really, really cool, fun figures, so yeah.
What could be more terrifying than being Cop and Hot Rod stranded on an alien planet battling the merciless Sharkticons?
Really, see? Find friends today! Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Meet the Sharkticons!
Autobots never face the evil force versus the terror of the Sharkticons, the Transformers.
The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
So as previously mentioned, I mentioned the idea of the Sharkticons. If you've watched my reviews for the Transformers, you know that I there was an episode from the most recent series of Transformers that had a Sharkticon, and I talked about them. This is the original Sharkticon, which is really, really cool to see. You know, a little bit bulkier looking, like pretty bulky. Kind of looks like the face has this kind of pliable, almost like tacky feel to it. I mean, I personally don't have the Sharkticon. Really cool figure though. I really like the design. Pretty menacing for the times. Definitely looks pretty interesting. I really like the design. Definitely different. Really cool though. I actually really, really like that. So yeah, that was the Sharkticons. Really cool stuff. Season 2 again, really awesome.
The courageous Ultra Magnus is a born leader. We meet at last, Galvatron.
And it will be the last time we meet.
And Galvatron is Ultra Magnus' sworn enemy. Galvatron transforms from laser cannon to fighting robot. And Ultra Magnus from huge car carrier to Autobot commander. And now it's here in theaters everywhere. Transformers the movie. It's over, Prime. Does Prime die? Transformers the movie, rated PG, now playing everywhere. Don't miss it.
Alright, so that was Galvatron and Ultra Magnus. Really cool figures, really iconic. I've seen a recent review of Galvatron. I know Galvatron's awesome. They recently did a Combiner Wars version of Ultra Magnus. I don't know if they've done one recently for Galvatron, but Galvatron, you know, major villain, as well as Ultra Magnus being a really major leader figure. Really awesome stuff. Galvatron, as many people know, the original Galvatron was played by Leonard Nimoy, the actor who played Spock in Star Trek. Rest in peace to Leonard Nimoy, of course. You know, he died during this year. big deal. I'm glad that I was able to include Galvatron for that reason, because of the fact that Leonard Nimoy did pass away this year. Very sad. I feel very bad about that. But overall, that was really cool figures. We got to see that movie clip again, advertising the movie that was coming out, that was coming out and was out at that time. Huge deal. I love the figure for Galvatron. I really love the figure for Ultra Magnus too. Really cool stuff. Love those figures. Really cool characters. Really significant characters. Also, if you're big on G1, you know those characters are like the it characters for Transformers. So really cool. Really awesome stuff overall. If you're a big fan of the series, you know that those figures are up there and they're amazing. So yeah,